What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classic Climb blog. Drop a one in the comments if you can hear me and you can see me. And this is going to be an hour because we're going to go. It's Friday. We're going up out of this mug. So we got places to be and people to see. So before we start the show, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ericka Williams, author of Smartphone Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. Right now, currently managing about 2.5, 2.7, depending on the day, depending on the appraisal assets. For those of y'all who leave me messy comments, guess what? I'm winning. Okay. So anyway, listen. All right. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout out to if you send things to the office, if you give stuff to us, if you give us shirts, t-shirts, whatever, I'm going to shout you out because I think it's amazing that you took the time to send it. So let's go ahead and kick it off. This one is Sienna Herbert, Parents Guide to Advocating for Diagnosis and Intervention for Needs of Children with Special Needs. Young lady moved down from New York City to Texas after watching the Classy Climb and has now started speaking, writing books, killing it. So for those of you right there, right there, right there, right there, boom. That's one. Okay, now this is also one of our other students doing a great job, like winning all three. Okay, so this is Ola J, Goal Friend Essentials. Okay, it's called Girl Talk to Overcome Stereotypes and Live Life on Purpose. Beautiful. Okay. Then we also have Get Your Together 100-day goal planner. I love this. I think this is beautiful. I'll put these links if I got them. And then Goal Friend Essentials. Okay. So again, get your together and Goal Friend Essentials. I like that. I like that. Thank you guys for sending those. I'll try to hold those up for another video. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for following class rules and being producers in this economy. All right, so most people are gonna go, but Ericka, you invest in Detroit. Y'all in the comments saying Detroit versus everybody. Listen, long term, if you ever find me any 100-year-old pictures of Detroit, it's beautiful. It's like New York City. It's amazing. It's a mecca. But as of right now, it's a giant zombie. And I'm going to break down the reasons why it's a giant zombie, why it will never be the same, why essentially I would not invest another dollar for the rest of the year and rest of next year into Michigan, that particular part of Michigan, but overall Michigan in general. They're not really helping themselves in the marketing department. Now, why am I saying this? Now, there's multiple reasons, okay? And we're going to list them all. Is it beautiful? For sure. Is it architectural you'll never see again? Art Deco architecture? For sure. But what's the problem? Detroit's politics have killed the city. Honest to God, really, once manufacturing started leaving America and leaving Michigan and Detroit, it was already dead. Right? It just didn't know it was dead. That's why we call it zombie. Now, what is zombie? I'm gonna got a lot of screens I'm gonna show y'all. Right now in Michigan, um, you can't get tenants to pay. And you can't force them to because they have this strong one first union background where they've advocated for people like, hey, if we stick together in these unions and we help the citizens, it'll be better for everybody, right? But guess what? Someone is paying the bills. And that someone is the actual people who own the properties, people who pay taxes in the city are paying the bills. Um, right now, all my tenants have stopped paying again because they came out with another program. The state came out with another program. Now, everybody knew the reckoning was coming. Like, hey, it's over. Stimmy's over. You out. Get out. But the state of Michigan is propping it up again, right? And so you get into this cycle of they don't want to pay because they heard about some program, some city stuff, some free stuff. And so they're going to try to apply for these programs, wait 90 days, and it becomes this cycle of every 90 days, you may get some money from the state, not enough money, not what you paid for, but they still expect you to pay property taxes. And then the city isn't selling homes for $1 because honestly, the city would love to resize the city. There's a million reasons I'm gonna go through, but I'm gonna make sure you guys see it's not just me saying this and Sherlock Holmes, Detroit versus everybody. It's not just me saying this, right? Downtown, when we talk about resizing, downtown will be vibrant. That's fine, right? If you ever go to Detroit on a weekend where where they have all these sports, football, hockey, whatever, basketball going on, all these people pour into the city, stay in the hotel rooms, fill it up, walk around downtown, go to the sports, and then they completely disappear Sunday at 9 o'clock at night. They gone, or they drunk, hungover, and then they leave on Monday morning. Uh, so you can't really have a city run that way, right? Not long term. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with some of the stuff because I don't want y'all to say, well, Erica's just basing this off tenants, even though this is a vital part. I told y'all earlier this year, why did Columbus, Ohio blow up? Not because Columbus, Ohio got all these startups, because Columbus, Ohio was kicking tenants out. That's why. Because Columbus, Ohio was putting people out. That's why. Let's keep it a buck. No, it didn't kick me out over there. Long story short, what example of is a zombie economy? Japan's been a zombie economy forever, like for the past 30 years. And a zombie economy is essentially where you have enough money to pay your bills, keep staff, keep the doors open. Right here's a good example. What are zombies? Zombies are companies that earn just enough money to continue operating and service the debt, but are unable to pay off their debt, such as companies, given that they just scrape by in their meetings overhead, wages, rent, interest, payments on debt, for example, and have no excess capital to invest. Recent zombie examples were Toys R Us, right? They had loans so high, they were making almost $1 billion a year, Toys R Us. And common sense would say, why don't they take this money and run ads and do all this other stuff and make their online inventory? Because they got to pay these loans back, right? So they're stuck in this zombie position. And that's a lot of that's just Detroit, period. Detroit is a zombie city. And we can keep going and show other examples. And article after article is just going to tell you that a lot more companies are zombies, right? We saw a lot of zombie stuff in the 1980s from Japan, right? Now you may say, well, Japan's booming, thriving, got lights, got cameras, got action. Go read some recent stuff on Japan where you see they're closing old factories. They have towns that are ghost towns because they don't have any population to repair them, replace them. And the reason is because who would have children, and lots of children, in a place where you cannot get by economically? It doesn't make mathematical sense. Now, why am I saying Detroit's a zombie? Because they have instead of coming out and telling everybody, look, we're gonna have to resize this city, clear out hundreds of acres of land, and turn it into parks and shit. Like just parks, nothing but parks, empty land and parks, right? There has been this hoping, this wishing, this pouring of billions of dollars of saying, hey, we can revive it. Well, what they should really be honest and tell you is they need to resize it first to revive it. Now, does everybody understand what I'm saying when I say resize? If you're going to have 1/5 the population of your city, you don't need all them extra houses. Another example is Ithaca, New York. When I was down there in Ithaca, New York, again, I don't want y'all to think I get these ideals for myself. I have other channels you can check out and see. This is Ed Butler. You can check him out. Ed Butler is in Detroit. He's a realtor talking about house hacking, Detroit schools, all kind of stuff. You have massive areas just closed. They done. It's a wrap. It has to be resized appropriately. Now, people listen. Love Asia. Love everybody in my Detroit market team. They're doing the best they can with the economy and the situation they have. But at the end of the day, when Michigan governor in 2020 decided, hey, I'm not going to enforce people to pay, which they had already been slippery slope with this for a while, for years, since the 2008. Money moved over to Ohio. Go look at Ohio. Ohio had 10% increase in like outside foreign money overnight. Columbus, Ohio, on average, the whole city is up 10%. Sales, prices, rents, everything. Now people say, well, people must be moving there. No, no, no. Money moved there. If you're gonna tell me, hey, I'm gonna take 50K and put it in a house and get $900 rent forever, that's 20% return on your money. That's easy money. But if you're going to put 50K into a house, right, you're going to pick up a 50K house in Detroit, then have to put 50K in it because the city has extra rules and regulations about lead and this and that because they're trying to resize the city essentially. Now, instead of you paying You bought it for 50 and you put 50 rehab into it. Now you're spending like 60, 70, 80K in rehab for the same $900 in rent. When you can hop over to Ohio, get the 50K unit and put 40K, less than that, 30 probably, into it because it's a faster moving market and get more rent. The math this ain't mathing, right? So you can check out Ed Butler there. Here's another guy. He talks about wholesaling. Again, the appeal of Detroit is, and this guy doesn't have a big channel, but it's not about the channel size. It's about what they're talking about. If y'all ever get that, yeah, I got a property for 1,000, but think about it. He's got this big credit score, but what can you get with it? Okay, you bid it on a house. You got a whole house for 1,000, but you got to put 60K into the house. You cash out, refi it. What's the most you're gonna get? 80% of that back, and you do it again. But guess what? Depending on how you do it, you'll be over leveraged. So again, you can look up Boss Talk here. This is Antoine Martel. I told you about him, how he is in Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio. He's in Detroit. He's in Memphis, Tennessee. I forgot the other one. But his book is also here in the office, and I'll show it to you again. Essentially, started in college. Was like, hey man, bump college, run around, went on Bigger Pockets. Go check his channel out. Met 300 millionaires or whatever in California, just like straight harassing them on Bigger Pockets, to the point that Bigger Pockets had to kick them off like 3 times. And then started to invest, bought one property, bird strategy, got caught at number 8, right? Can only birth so many times where it makes mathematical sense. But because people saw him taking action and being so young, now, years later, if you see this, he's got millions of dollars. He's got this video right here is a good example where he's flipping some properties. But what ends up happening is you can go to his website and see there's just people don't want to deal with, let's just go there. They don't want to deal with walking the hood to buy the properties, then cleaning them up, talking to contractors. They want just a finished turnkey product. And I completely understand at this point, right? So when you sit here and look, and this guy has all this multifamily, all this single family, the fact that he's willing to do the wedge work, dealing with people, that's where the money's at, right? Because a lot of people don't, companies in Sweden, companies in other countries, they don't care about walking the streets. One of the properties we got out of Cleveland was from a Sweden company selling it. So again, this is Metro Detroiter. Go look at his channel. Don't take my word for it. I wanted you guys to really look at this stuff, what I'm saying today, and they'll tell you the math is not math, and it makes no sense, right? The suburbs, this kind of model where we all move out to the suburbs, it worked, but then every other weekend they're coming into Detroit to enjoy the weekend. So it's a weird cyclical relationship that really won't work. Now I just pulled this up as an example. This is $350,000 in Michigan, right? So why would you spend $350 in the city if you can go outside of it and get acres and acres and acres of land, right? So this is some examples. I was just trying to give you guys some context. So I didn't want you to think, well, Ericka, you're just saying this because tenants ain't paying or whatever. No, listen, I'm trying to I'm trying to give you to really take an honest assessment. And again, Tez, I am a active investor in over 8 properties in the city. Actually 9. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, they're telling you this on TV. But if you actually go inside Bigger Pockets and talk to hundreds of owners who own in the city, you talk to police officers, you talk to sheriffs, they can't kick anybody out. They're still backlogged, 3 years worth of backlog. And they're not making these payments 100%. I thank you for this, right? And I'm just telling you, if it's a government program, if it's Section 8, sure, you may be getting all your tenants paying. It's not the norm. I can literally go show you 85% of people they're not getting their payments. This is why people are either selling or they're cash out refining, and they're just taking their money and investing in other cities. This is why if you look at the numbers, there's only 1 month inventory in Detroit. Most times in any city, you should have 6 months of inventory. Only other place you don't have 6 months of inventory is Austin, Texas. And we have 2 or 3 months of inventory. Detroit has 1 month inventory. Why? There's no point in selling. You don't got no buyers. Right? And so people are going to convince you, because it is a hustle, that, oh man, look at all these people flipping and buying, and it's long term, it's great. Again, earlier today, and this isn't picking, Ramon Tukes shared this. Let me see if I can pull it up. And I'm doing this because someone earlier yesterday's show had asked, what would I do with $50,000? And I wanted to make it very clear I would not put it in Detroit. Not at this moment. Not even on the other side of town. Not at all. Let me see. Can y'all see this? Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, so right here is Ramon Tukes. I think he's in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. So he has a duplex in Detroit for $25K. The rehab is 80 or 90K. I can already tell you right now, the rehab's over 150. I already talked to Asia and 2 other contractors. Why am I telling you this? Because the 2 houses beside it need to be torn down. So you gotta have to call the city to get them to tear the houses down to get rid of the blight that's beside you, to even get a normal, healthy tenant to move in there, right? Now the top part, he's got a duplex in Montgomery, Alabama for $19,000. I can tell you already it's vacant, right? It says it in the notes. But let's say you buy it, $19K, and you put, as he says, possibly $30K into it, $20K into it, so that you can raise the rents. It's Montgomery, Alabama. Let's stop playing. Let's stop this game. The reason the person's selling it for 19 is because they were renting it for $500 each side, if that. Just keep it a buck, right? But I would take, if you gave me the choice, am I going to spend the 19,000 in Montgomery, Alabama, or the 25K in Detroit? I would take Montgomery, Alabama. Why? Because they'll put them out. They're gonna have to pay. So again, he calls them, these are the Fantastic Friday deals. But again, if you pay attention to anybody in these markets, if you actually call people, they will tell you it's not a win unless you're just long term into the city. If you long term in Detroit, like you say, look, I'm gonna be here for 100 years. My family's gonna be here 100 years, and I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay invested in the city 100 years. Then for sure, keep buying in the city. Keep buying, because guess what? 88% of people live 1 hour from their mother, according to IRS statistics and CDC statistics. So people already decided they're not leaving. They're really not going nowhere. And Agent J Poole, you're right. They hurt themselves because the first thing first, right now they're doing they have next year in 2022 coming up, and you're going to see a lot of properties sell in Detroit. They have inspections coming around where they're making sure to get rid of lead. They're making sure people are doing stuff up to code. Now let's just go there. You're talking about houses built in the 1920s. You want people to put $120,000 into these houses. It's insane. It's insane. What for? I could build a brand new house in Salado, Texas, and get $1,500 to $2,000 a month rent. Why would I put $120,000 into a house in Detroit and rent it for $800 to $1,000 a month? You'd have to be a long-term buyer into the city. Just long-term. Just going to go, hey, I'm stuck in it for 100 years, right? And now people say, well, Ericka, this sounds great to a California person or a New Yorker who's going to have to spend $500,000 for a property. So this is cheap. Yes, it's cheap, but at the end of the day, they still need returns on their money. If the city and state are not enforcing evictions, and I'm on a tenant that's on the 24th month? What's October 2019? We've already passed that. So October 2019 to now, we're in December? We're talking about 26 months of a non-paying tenant. And this is us actively every other day calling, harassing the city. Hey, when we gonna get our eviction? Hey, you gave us the paper. Oh, we behind, honey. We behind. And this is us actively, consistently following up nonstop with the city and the state to get this person out. Nonstop follow-up. You cannot run a city like that. You can't. You can't. Listen, I'm telling you cannot run a city like that. I know everybody's trying to sell you on this whole the climate change and it'll be so hot down south that all these white people are going to run up north to live in colder places like Michigan and Boston and Vermont. No, the reason you have people moving up to Michigan, Vermont, and all these places because they're poor. They're a YouTuber living in a van and they can go buy 100 acres for 50K in the middle of nowhere. That's why they're moving there. You just wait 20 years from now. That's the same talking points the manosphere has. You just wait 50 years from now, them hoes is gonna be losing. It I'm sorry. Where you where you put your children, wherever you move and live, is you've chosen the friends and the environment for your children. Just make it very clear. It was at its peak in 1950, 1.8 million people. 70 years later, they have 600. Yes. So what you're having to do is resize a city for the population. John, in Detroit now, the white flight in Detroit is a real thing, right? Like Detroit was a white city at 88, I think 89% white city. So it was a white city and then reversal. But even our Uber driver, when I first came there, was like, hey, we never knew the city would almost shut down when we moved out. Everybody moves out of the city. So their local people feel that. Oh, for sure. Listen. The Shay Show, we can even pull that up just because it's funny you brought that up. But like that's what people think of. When I talk about Detroit, most people think of, and I'll go ahead and share the screen so you can see them. They think of, if it'll let me share it. They think of the Shay Show, where this guy shows all these horrible, dirty, crazy properties, people breaking in them, leaving them nasty, people jumping through roofs, people jumping out windows. Go watch it. They out here doing evictions. They out here trying to get them out of the house. They out here trying to do mold remediation. They cleaning out places. They having to call the cops every 2 minutes. Right? This is a cultural thing. This is not when a city is dying. And I keep using these words because I want to make sure I'm very clear on it. When parts of Japan were dying, the people left the countryside to get to the city because where they realized the country was dying and they could feel it all the way out to the edges. That's why you have all these houses in Japan you can buy for $1 in the middle of nowhere. But the train can get you there. But then you got to put 100 to 200 to $300,000 into a house. Okay? And they don't like foreigners, okay? So the Shay Show is showing you, hey, this is a cultural thing. This is an attitude. This is a way of life. This is a way of living. The city was dying. The city was dying, and so people were coming in. The people that are staying, they don't have nowhere to go. Even if they want to go, they don't have nowhere to go. Again, we see the stories nonstop of somebody leaving Detroit. And right now I'm in Texas, and so a lot of the construction workers I meet from Michigan are from Detroit. Down here, they know how to do brick masonry. They know how to do construction work, so they actually could leave. So think about the people who can't leave the city. I want you to really think about it. Think about who can't leave. Like for whatever reason, they can't leave. There's a reason. Oh, my bad. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Again, people will be always calling kind. There are listen. Are there great neighborhoods in Detroit? I've shown 4, 5, 6 videos in a row where they take me around town and they show me amazing neighborhoods in Detroit. But overwhelmingly, what are we getting in Detroit? We're getting bars on the windows. You know what I'm saying? Like let's stop playing. Let's stop playing the game. Yes, 26 months of not paying rent. 26 months. And we're actively following up with the city, calling. And when I go into bigger pockets, I'm like, okay, is anybody else experiencing this? And you've got hundreds, if not hundreds, almost 1,000 forums where they're saying the same thing. You cannot draw investors into cities when you don't respect property rights. It won't work. It already looks like that in some parts. um, well, no, that's the thing people always love telling me about people they're gonna relocate, and I'm like, only place that's really awful for you is Arizona, New Mexico, real harsh on your skin. But everywhere else is like they ain't going nowhere. Look, there you go. I moved to the suburbs outside the city for my older kids to go to high school and moved back to the city for my elementary kids. I worked for a moving company for 20 years. Education matters. Facts. Yes, there are already dispensaries all over Detroit. When you go, I've shown it in videos, right? I've shown it in videos. Um, we get money in Detroit. You getting crime in Detroit for sure. You getting some busted up renos in Detroit for sure. I mean, again, this isn't just me saying this. Like, you can literally go through hundreds of channels of people who are investors. You can literally go through bigger pockets and see the same conversation. The city itself even says in newspaper articles, "Hey, we didn't get all the money out for the rental assistance yet. We behind. We didn't get this done yet. We're behind." The city itself is saying it. So, I mean, this isn't like a made up thing. I don't have bars in my middle, but you do have the pew pew pew, don't you? All right then. Taz, that's been my argument forever that if we don't invest, somebody else will. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure the city is serving the investors, serving the people that they want to bring tax dollars in, not just the startups, not just the people who want to come downtown, all the business investors. I've told y'all so many times that the city should have been selling houses for $1 and got over it. But they're out here trying to haggle you for a shell of a house with just brick around the edges. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Listen, so many people talk about that. They're like, Ericka, if you'd came in 2008, that house would have been burnt down. And that cracks me up because I don't for 1 minute doubt y'all weren't burning up houses. I don't for 1 minute. Um, and so, the thing of it is like, at the end of the day, you have to have a city that can produce winners. I'm not just talking about music. I'm not just talking about a few people, but overall a high number of winners. Slow and steady Taz, I go to Detroit once every other month. I'm there all the time. That's why I'm laughing when you say this because I'm like, I'm actively boots on the ground. I'm actively like, okay, well, what's another side of town we can invest in? So you can go show me a nice side of town and say that, oh, this side of town's better and people pay their rent over here. If half your city don't pay rent, it don't matter that 10 people out of 100 pay rent. That don't matter. This is true. The Bronx was burned up. It was real pretty burned up. But this is what I want y'all to understand is like the politicians matter. Who you vote for matters. We jokingly say for the next 10 years, Detroit's still gonna vote Democrat. It doesn't matter. There's corruption there, period. But at the end of the day, what I want y'all to understand is when people say, "What do you do with 50K?" I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and tell you, "Hey, just go buy a cheap property in Detroit and rent it out." I'm gonna tell you maybe go to Cleveland market. I'm gonna tell you to go to Sun Belt region. I'm gonna tell you to go somewhere where you can actually get where it's landlord friendly, not tenant friendly. I'm gonna tell you to go Section 8 route. Honestly, I would tell you to come buy land in Texas, nearest to any of our three big cities, or four, excuse me: San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, Austin. Anything within an hour of those cities, you could literally buy land and build a house and make 150K off just selling that house. It happens every day of the week. So, because I mean, I've literally know a guy from San Diego, California, who bought 18 properties in Detroit, kind of combination of auction and land bank, and he's just slowly repairing them because he knows just how the economy is, just how people are. There's no incentive to rush and repair all the properties at the same time because the quality of tenants you Get in Detroit. But the reason I did this video is I know it was crazy. I remember seeing a lot of video on it. The reason I'm doing this video is because a lot of people don't understand what's happening in our economy, and I'm trying to get you to understand. Like, I'm in a direct way saying, okay, you have a lot of zombie companies out there. There's a lot of zombie companies that are going to do bare minimum to stay open and stay afloat. You guys have seen this when you see some laundromat that looks barely open, some restaurant that has no one in the restaurant, but yet it's open every day with staff. When you go to certain places and you can't understand why. Again, we've seen zombie businesses, zombie economies. I mean, has anybody here seen a gas station you can't figure out is open? Remember the running joke forever is, how's Arby's open? How is Mattress Firm open? And then they confirmed years later a Brazilian company was money laundering through Mattress Firm. How are all these other places open? Right? Again, that's why when people fight me like, oh, starting a business is so hard. Not really. Not in the economy we live in. If you have a location, an office, and you can make some sales quarterly. I mean, you just saw what happened with the PPP, how hundreds and hundreds of thousands of businesses got $350,000, and they weren't even thriving. Like, they weren't even existing really. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I just want you to understand that, like, startup culture can't change a whole city, especially when we are in an economy where they can literally work from anywhere. Let me see here. I'm trying to find that other article I have for y'all. I mean, even earlier, Betterment is a mortgage company, and the whole office is digital. 99.99% of the whole office is digital, and they had to lay off 10% of their workforce because I kept telling y'all banking is broken. If a person hasn't been at a job consistently for 2 years with this particular type of credit score and no blemishes on it, they're not going to be able to qualify for a mortgage at the best rates, not just any mortgage, but the best rates, right? Well, the average person changes jobs every 2 years. That's IRS numbers. That's data. That's employers telling them. Average person stays there 2 years and they gone. They complain about millennials leaving after every 2 years, right? So if the average person leaves their job after 2 to 3 years, the average person is going to have blemishes, eviction, something going on, car, credit card, something, student loans. Who's qualifying for these houses? Who's qualifying for these mortgages? Not traditionally, anyway. It's going to be a lot of fintech. It's going to be a lot of business owners, a lot of LLCs purchasing properties, and not people, right? So look at Dearborn, Michigan, if you want to go there. But I just want you to pay attention. I want you to not be out here in dreamland on the problems Michigan has. And Detroit's a big part of it. I mean, literally the other day, I think someone called him Kevin Samuels, and he's like, "Well, I'm looking for women." They're like, "Where do you live?" Detroit. He's like, "Well, get the heck out of there." And he's like, "Nah, man, my family's here." Well, then don't complain about it. You have the choice of women. You have the choice. There they are. If you're not going to move, don't move. But most people should move to a Sun Belt economy, right? Even within Detroit, when I say there's a young lady here who lives in Austin and she goes, "Oh, I'm from Detroit." And then you say something about, "Oh, I have investments in Detroit." She's like, "Oh, I'm not from that part of Detroit." Well, what kind of hell part of Detroit are you from then? Right? If you have a city where people can't even say they're from Detroit without making a face at you, like, "Oh, no, I'm not from that part of Detroit." Well, what part of Detroit you from? That's like somebody saying they're from Houston, be like, "But not that part of Houston." What's that mean? You got half a dead city. Get out of here with that. They should be looking for landlord-friendly states. Detroit is a tenant-friendly state. You should be looking for landlord-friendly states, just to save you time, headache, and money. And I'll even pull up what that looks like, the map. And there's a couple different ones, so we'll just do it like this. Can y'all see this? I hope you can. Okay, so even here, things in red, the more landlord friendly. Arkansas is crazy. I'm gonna tell you right now, they over the top. Like they need to chill. Arkansas and West Virginia don't play. Okay, but I can already tell you this map is BS on parts of it because it's got Illinois in there. No, it is not landlord friendly. It's not. Like it may be talking about the edges of Illinois, but not Chicago. Indiana, true. Ohio, true. That's why people are moving their money there to Indiana and Ohio. New York, see, you already know this map is on some crack because no, New York is not landlord friendly. Okay, in North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, again, Sunbelt, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, they're gonna get you up out of there. So everything in green, hard green, is renter friendly. Vermont's the most green, right? And I think Maryland is like the second most green. Yeah, it's Maryland if I'm not mistaken. No, Maryland's a little bit of green. I think it's New Hampshire beside it. What's beside that? Massachusetts, there's Maine. Somewhere over there is some more green. But anyway, Hawaii, I mean again, so they don't have incentive to get the tenants out or make them pay. There just isn't any incentive. Right? Because the state, the voters, how they're voting, et cetera, et cetera. You even go here, right? Growing inspector of exit state taxes as residents abandoned, right? So these people are getting the duck out of here. They're getting the duck out of here, boo. And they're coming to here, 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 here. So if I'm a person who's like, I need to make more money, what am I do? I'm gonna buy land in northern Florida, and I'll tell you why in another story. Most people who are in southern Florida are like, "This is crazy. This is insane. These immigrants, the internationals. I'm gonna move North Florida so I can stay in Florida because I like the weather, I like the taxes. I don't really want to move, but this pricing is crazy. So if I was somebody who was in Florida, what would I be doing? I'd be buying land and building stuff in North Florida. Why? Because they're gonna relocate up. Plain and simple. North Carolina, baby, number 4. South Carolina number 6. So Louisiana's always losing people. California, good gracious, that's real purple. New York's the worst purple, was 50. So again, look at this. Migration of personal incomes between states. Go check this out. This is the Tax Foundation. Please go check it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Let me see. Can y'all see the screen well, or is something blocking? Oh, I'm blocking. Can y'all see the screen well? Do it need to be bigger? Okay. Let's see if I can make that any bigger. Big, a little bit bigger. Let me see. Let me see if I got another one. Now, this is something you should. I do like this. This is about property taxes. If I can make this bigger, how I make this bigger? This thing tripping. Them property taxes in Texas is high, y'all. Don't get it twisted. We real high. What's number 1? Not New York. Number 1 is New Jersey. Number 2 is Illinois. Number 3 is nope. How dare they lie and say New York's 11? I can't see number 3, y'all. But Texas is number 6. Property taxes is crazy out here. Absolutely insane. Looked at a house the other day. They wanted $15,000 a year for property taxes. $15,000 a year. That means you're paying $1,200 a month in property taxes. Think about that. Oh, New Hampshire's number 3. There it is. That's weird. So you guys, there's a lot of things to take in control of. I mean, I can literally just go on the tax foundation and go over and over and over. But when you guys hear people say, "Oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to move there," it's like, okay, well, why are you moving there? Do you know why you're moving there? Right here is Income tax, of course, they're gray. None, 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 none. But South Carolina, 7%. Fayetteville, 5%. Tennessee, 6%. New York, 8%. I don't believe that one day at all. Minnesota, 9. Why is North Dakota losing people and South Dakota gaining people? This is part of it. Wyoming as well. Okay. But yeah, spend some time on the Tax Foundation website, y'all. You will really get a kind of idea what's really going on out here and why money's moving the way it is. Same thing. How high are your corporate taxes? Right. This is affecting why people choose the places they live. I want to make this bigger, and it's making me mad. Tax rates. Sales tax, 8% in Texas, 9% Louisiana, 9.4% Tennessee, 9.9, basically 10% on every dollar you spend in Louisiana. North Carolina, 6%. South Carolina, 7%. Georgia, 7%. Alabama, almost 9%. So they're making up for the tax. They're not, oh, we don't charge income tax, but they charging you some tax, baby. They gonna hit you with the willy wally. So again, just something to think on, something to look over, something to review. As you try to figure out, okay, where do I want to invest? Why do I want to invest here? Is it because people are hyping you up? You need to really be examining those states. But the Tax Foundation is a great website to start with. So that's what I have for that. I hope y'all can see that well. If you couldn't, my bad. Oh well. Tax Foundation, go look it up. Taxfoundation.org. I mean, it could be, but why? When you can stay in Florida or Texas and bring more employees there. Facts and listen, I'm not about your feelings. I'm all about facts. Microsoft and Google have offices downtown. I've also had a tenant 2 years, no rent. Can't turn the water off because it's a duplex and the landlord would create an unsafe environment. I'm an hour outside. See, listen, that's why I just want people to let's get real. Let's get real. When people sit here and try to convince you, hey man, it's so cheap, somebody else will invest, other people will invest. My goal is not to be a scavenger investor. That's not what I signed up for, to be a scavenger investor. If I want to be a scavenger investor, I would start a hard money loan. I'd start a towing company. I'd start something ridiculous. A thrift store. Well, thrift stores aren't as bad as pawn shops, but those are scavenger businesses. And so when you're dealing with people who don't have to pay and the city's kind of giving them this incentive, because again, trust me, they at home watching everything on YouTube that tells them they ain't got to pay. Ooh, they do. Thank you, Master IT. Okay, I got to get ready to go check out the lights downtown. So let me go ahead and. Why don't I just sell and leave the city? Because whenever I buy a property, I'm in it for the 10, 15-year haul. Because your data, because if let's say you get into a market, it doesn't pan well for the first 2 years and you sell, but then the next other 2 years were well, it's one of those things you're trying to time the market. And the only time you leave the market is if I could get maximum amount of money for the property, right? You pick a property up for 30 and they're going to willing to pay you 50K for it. Great. But if not, it doesn't make sense. Minneapolis, St. Paul is trying to get rent control till they got told that 1,000 new housing would immediately be canceled. There you go. And that right there is the reason. Tenants have a vote. Out-of-state landlords don't. But Flashwave, here's the kicker. The money that is coming into the state, it can be taken away. That's why over $10 billion was taken from Detroit and put where? Into Ohio. They don't care. Sure, you can vote Democrat till you die. You sure can. And guess what? No one cares. They will not pour another dollar into that city. You can look at the liquidity of Detroit. There's no liquidity running around that bad boy. You got fully complete properties, nice, renovated, ready to go. Should be purchased like this, right? No one's purchasing them. Been like that over a year. right? I'm getting offers in the hey, we got a property for $5,000. Okay, well, if you got the property from the tenant from whoever owns it for 5,000, and you're a wholesaler, so you probably making 4 grand. That means you got the property for 1,000. So that tells me already there's some major, massive problems with the property, right? So when this whole market of like, I'm gonna chase this cheap house, that doesn't make sense. Oh, well, thank you. Hey, I feel you. I feel you. Do what you do. Property taxes are very, very high. Listen, I'm gonna just tell you, go to the taxfoundation.org. I know people are saying they can't really see them. Again, it's called taxfoundation.org. Okay, you literally can go here. Let me share my screen one more time. I can't see him. I can't see him. It doesn't matter. I've told you 4 times what the name of it is. It's taxfoundation.org. Okay, this is the Center for Taxes. Okay, now you go federal, you go state, you can go global taxes. All right, so let's go back to state taxes. Okay, and you scroll down. See how this is right here? Tax maps. Okay, so right here, you can click on it. You can go like this. Can everybody see now? Can you see now, baby? Can you see now? Get them likes up. I'm just saying, like, um, oh, for sure, for sure. Oakland still has an eviction moratorium. See, to me, that's insane. And if Oakland's still doing that, right? If Oakland's still doing that and you live right down the street from the biggest tech hubs all over in San Fran, just a 10-minute car ride over the bay, that doesn't make any sense. There you go. There you go. Well, to many people are still leaving Detroit. Yeah. If a property's 5K, it's unlivable in the hood. Yeah, exactly. See, but that's the whole thing, Broderick. There's this that's scamming. That's what that is, Broderick. I mean, you may say it in a nice word that I'm representing tenants who haven't paid rent over a year. The landlords will eventually get paid rent. If my tenant owed me $15,000 and the city offers me 4,700, am I being made whole? No, that's not being made whole. Offering a owner of a property 25% of their money and then is still expecting them to pay taxes is unconstitutional. You're circumventing my constitutional rights of my property. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You're literally stealing. You're stealing from me. And again, the government supporting helping you do it. But again, these landlords, this is what I told y'all. I said, what you're going to see over the next 2 years, and I'm trying to wrap this video up. Over the next 2-3 years, what's going to happen is you're going to have landlords get a check for tenants that been there 3 years from year one where they didn't pay. And it's going to be years down the road. They're going to be saying, see, you got some money. Why are you tripping? Because that's not how businesses run. We don't let people go in a restaurant every day and eat and don't pay the bill and be like, well, you eventually going to get it. That's not how that works. That's not how that works, right? I get what you're saying, and those people need representation, but those same people need to be spending that whole same year they haven't been paying rent, finding ways to make more income so they can take care of their kids and family. That's their number one job they should be doing. Period. We live in an economy where they can work online, they can get a job tomorrow. So again salute you for the work you do, but I that's your people are basically stealing. You see a lot of people in Ohio, yeah, they going over there. True. I mean, at the end of the day, like my tenant has been working this whole time at a hospital. She has not been sick. She's not been injured. She's not been in ill will. I have a tenant who broke his back and still paid his rent. Piece by piece could pay his rent from his insurance, from his everything else. In Florida, I will probably invest in Florida in Port St. Lucie, a town outside of Port St. Lucie. Next year, there's some people I met at my conference who are in that area, so I will be there. Thank you, thank you. We're never made whole. It's a lie. Yeah, it's one of the biggest lies you'll have out there. I told you, sue all them clowns. I lived Kristen, we did all kind of stuff. This lady works at a hospital. She gets good pay. She has a nice new car outside the house. We have tenants that we put on month-to-month leases. We gave them different things. We made repairs. Again, we've been over backwards to help folks. This is going on 2 years now, and this tenant was originally evicted October 2019. If your state can enforce an eviction from 2019, almost 2 years later, and when we call, the city's like, well, we got people that's been older than you. I said, how? 2018? They're like, yep, yep. Cosmic, some counties in Ohio didn't even enforce a federal eviction clause. Courts were closed for 3 months, April to June, and then went back to business. And that's why they got the money right now. They are, so Broderick, there's over 7 programs depending on the program. I'm telling you, I literally could give you all the court documents. They're not 100% paying folks. There are several there's billions of dollars still left in a lot of the funds. They haven't even been paid out yet. Mhm. 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 I have clients looking at filing a class action lawsuit because the city is keeping money instead of letting them get their government funds for those tenants. Well, I don't know exactly what Detroit's doing, but I can tell you they're not doing. A bunch of nothing. Landlords should be allowed to evict them, but you have a Detroit is a state where you have to use the sheriff. You cannot just use any old company. Why aren't folks able to pay their rent? There's a lot of jobs with that's the thing. This is the whole gag on it. When people I told y'all when 2008 happened, a lot of people had a disability for 2 years. It was the longest we ever allowed, unemployment for 2 years. Well, what they saw is a massive increase in disability rolls at the end of 2 years. Once you start giving people money and telling them they don't have to pay, it never stops. There you go. Broderick is an example of a person why Ericka does not give discounts on packages anymore. Very people we used to encourage to and build while others abandon. You take advantage. I'm telling you, literally, I went to a marketing firm and they were like, do not ever give another discount. You can run 2 bundles, but that's it. Like these courses are too cheap. There's other people in your market selling courses for $7,000 and you're doing more than they're doing. So that's why I'm like, nah, I'm done with that. I'm done. Here in Chicago, my neighbor rented his house and his working tenant hasn't paid her rent since the start of COVID. I'm telling you, it's I'm just putting it to you like this. There are certain places people would not play with you like this. Yeah, it did. There was so Christian, that's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, Christian, the people I was meeting that were getting tenants evicted in August, they had people in there since 2019 before me and they had eviction papers. Some of them had after me. So it's like we literally ran around calling the city like, How are other people getting tenants out other than us? You dig what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. There's different ones. Don't take that renter's assistance money you agree to forgive rent, not eviction. Yeah, so there's different programs. There's a couple different programs, and that's why I keep telling people I'm like they're not giving you 100% your money. They're not. It's a culture thing up there. It's like if you can get over on people, get over. That's basically what it is. This is a bullshit argument. If you're about to be homeless on the street, no. If you're about to be homeless on the street, no. You need to work. And the people I know who skip this long on rent are not clients who are struggling to work 2 or 3 jobs. I'm telling you, it's people that have a job. In California, a majority of people I'm seeing on bigger pockets have cashed out, refied their house, but that's not everybody. So in California, you could drive Uber all month and you would have that money. More than that, honestly. But I listen, again, you got to figure out, if you can't afford to stay in California, you need to leave California. No, here it is, 1 and 2. Here's this old liberal conversation talking points. Let me tell you something. You are free to go live in public housing. You are not free to live in a private housing. You're not free to go live off somebody for free. If you don't want to pay rent, no worries. The government has a bunch of Section 8 and government properties that you can move into. You can move into projects for free, baby. Like you don't have to live in somebody else's house. That's that liberal. I'm not responsible response. Well, big business does it. No, no, no. You go live in the projects, baby, because you can live there for free, and the government don't make you pay. But you don't get the right to live in somebody's house. No, that's where we got that backwards thinking. That's scamming. That's a scam. What you just said is scamming. I know. I'm telling you, people love to like, well, they're making more money. It's like, not if they can't get the money out. It don't matter. Even if your appraisal went up, now I'm gonna pay more. Okay, think about that. I'm gonna pay more in taxes because the appraisal's up. And what if I can't get the money out the property? Come on, man. That's a cultural thing. The math ain't mathing. It's not. Thank you. Go live at your mama house for free. They do. I mean, no, you can go live at the projects for free. If you're worried about big business and stuff, it's an urban. It is a cultural thing, but it is also it's a scam, man. It's a scam. Thank you. That's my whole thing. If the bank takes a house, then they get to go to the city. They go to the city, go to the police, and get your tenant pushed out. Your tenant gets pushed out either way. So it's like this is the dumbest thing. Dumb, dumb. Oh yeah. So that's part of it too. Everybody can't. All right, listen, you've done enough. You're in timeout now. We don't want communists over here. Broderick, why should my property rights be infringed? You're an attorney. You know what I'm saying is right. Why should my property rights, my constitutional property rights, be infringed Why are you trying to tell somebody they can sell? That to me, that what you're saying is, well, the government's not doing what they should, so you should just sell your property. That's okay. No, if I gotta sell my property, I'm coming up in that house and taking them doors off the hinges. Which I wouldn't do that. I mean, I ain't got time to do that. But I think it's just so it's sick. It's a scam. It's very sick. It's very sick. That's mentally sick. Well, just sell your property. Well, for what? For what? Why should I sell what I've worked and put my money into? It's a zombie city. Zombie cities? A lot of them. We got a lot of zombie cities, but Detroit's the number one that we got out there. So anyway, all right, you guys, that's what I have for today. I'm going to go catch the lights. I'm going to go catch dinner with some folks, and I want y'all to have a wonderful evening. We could go over and over this so many times, but at the end of the day, our society is basically telling people you can scam. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the sad part. The game is the game. Guess what? And unfortunately, the poor people who have tried to not pay rent, guess what's gonna happen to them? They're gonna get the rough side of the game. They're gonna have to live out in the middle of the country because there will be no landlord will let them move in after this, and they're gonna make it. I promise you. What's gonna happen is a lot of these people that played this game, they're gonna be living an hour outside the city. Every landlord is gonna be having a database. Hey, this mug don't pay and didn't pay the whole pandemic. No problem. They don't get put outside the city. What you think is happening in Baltimore right now? They putting all them folks outside the city. You will not live in the city. I promise you. What you'll see in the next 5 years is all these people gonna be living out in the middle of shacks in the middle of the desert because there will be no city that'll let them stay without proof that they tried to pay some portion. I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. I worked in the apartment industry, y'all, here in Austin, Texas. You had engineers who made 10, 11, 12 grand a month coming from California, try to rent an apartment in Texas. They had evictions on their report. No apartment would let them rent. If it was, it'd have to be a brand new construction apartment. They say, hey, you got to put down either 2 months rent or first month rent and additional deposit. How many people have that? Not many. Guess where you're going to be living? You're going to be living in the middle of nowhere. I promise you, this is what's happening. If we were turning down in Texas engineers who make 3, 4, 5 times the monthly average American makes, we were turning them down, honey. I'm telling you, this is what the future people who didn't pay and they think it's all gravy, they're going to be living in the middle of nowhere. When they eventually get them out, they're going to be out. They're going to be out. And I'm telling you, I've seen it already in Baltimore where person after person sells the same property. Everybody keeps selling the property, right? They sell the property. Finally, the last person comes through and tells the city they won't take Section 8 anymore. The city puts the person out, and guess where their voucher's good at? In the middle of nowhere. Not in Baltimore City. They got to take 3, 4, 5 buses just to get back into the city. They gonna get y'all asses out. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm telling you what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing at the conferences. Their plans are everybody who didn't attempt to pay, didn't try to pay, weren't trying to, did everything else. They will be pushed out to the edges of these cities and towns. They're not gonna have them in there. Thank you. If I was a man, he wouldn't be saying this because I'm a woman. I should be helping people. I should be helping these tenants, these landlords. I should be helping them. Nah. They're exactly BP. They want you to sell to a bigger company because you can't get them to pay. Nah, boo boo. I'm gonna get them to pay. I'm gonna take their taxes. I'm gonna take every refund they have for the next 3 years. Trust. They're gonna get out one way or another. Oh my God. Sorry about you, Roberta. Listen. And this is why, and I'm gonna say, I'm not saying Shay Show is violent or using thugs or to put nobody out, but this is why you have certain people using certain people to get these people out these houses, or one way or another. How about that? It was designed. Yep, we have a database. I'm telling you, listen, they gonna get them up out of there. They gonna get them up out of there. They're gonna be living in the middle of nowhere. They're gonna be like, I'm in a trailer an hour outside of the city. Why? Because they won't have nowhere for y'all to go. I'm telling you, they gonna make sure. San Francisco ain't softening, it's empty, and ain't nobody want to be there. That's what they're gonna be. They're gonna be living in abandoned buildings. They're gonna be again. Go watch some of these old movies from the 70s and 80s in New York when they had people in New York living in abandoned buildings. Look at it. Look at it. You're gonna have that go again. I know. They like, come on, Aaron, don't do that. I'm telling you. Because they want to make sure people gonna pay. The market will adjust. Exactly. Like who is the landlord? Like if you want to go scam the government, please go live in government housing. Go live in government housing. Listen, that's who they're gonna go hit next, the sugar daddies. I'm telling you, you're gonna see people moving in to help people's houses. Anyway, all right, I gotta go, you guys. All right, guys, this is your girl Ericka Classic Climb Blog. Have a good night. I've been cutting up.